9 most underrated NBA players. Number 1. Antoine Jamison. Antoine Jamison will always be underrated in my eyes, and the main reason lies with the fact that he was 9th in scoring during the 2000s among all players. I bet not many of you knew that. He is above decade mainstays like Ray Allen, Sean Marion, Shaquille O'Neal, and Paul Gasol. It's a travesty that the 6'9", 34-year-old wasn't mentioned as one of the league's best scorers during his prime. Number 2. Doug Christie. Doug Christie was the heart and soul of the Sacramento Kings defense. During their glory days, the Kings were a widely considered top team in the West, and Christie was part of the reason why. However, he remained in the shadow of stars Peja Stojakovic, Mike Bibby, and Chris Webber during his tenure, but that didn't seem to bother the man who prided himself on his forceful defensive prowess. He was a member of the 4 all-defensive teams and made his forte in the league. A Pepperdine graduate, Christie averaged 11.2 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 3.6 assists in his 827-game career. He also swiped an amazing 1.9 steals per game. Number 3. Lou Hudson. Sweet Lou Hudson came out of the University of Minnesota in the 1966 NBA draft and followed up his 4th overall selection by having a solid 13 seasons in his association. He had a smooth and very effective jump shot that helped propel him to 6 All-Star games. The 6'5" Hudson turned in a career that saw him tally 17,940 up on the scoreboard. His number 23 jersey has been retired by the Atlanta Hawks. I'll bet you didn't even know who he was before reading this either. Number 4. Marques Johnson. Selected 3rd overall in the 1977 draft by the Milwaukee Bucks, Marques Johnson's best years would come with the club whose uniform he donned first. In 524 games with the Bucks, Johnson averaged 21 points, pulled down better than 7 boards, and dished out nearly 4 assists per game. He was also a 5-time All-Star, so how come he isn't more widely recognized as the phenomenal small forward he was? He did, after all, coin the phrase point forward when he was discussing his abnormal role in the 1983 playoffs with the press. Johnson at 6'7" seemed out of place, playing point guard during the postseason, but injuries had taken down all the other guys that were forced to take a greater role. All in all, he helped revolutionize the small forward game and should be better known amongst NBA cliques. Number 5. Chauncey Billups. How Chauncey Billups did not make an All-Star game until 2006 when he was 29 absolutely boggles my mind. The guy has really developed into a force on both ends of the floor throughout his illustrious career, and his resume will definitely make him a possibility to become a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame. When all is said and done, in 14 seasons of the association, he has averaged 15.5 points, 5.6 assists, 3 rebounds, and has shot 39% from downtown to go with an incredible 89.4% clip at the line. He helped lead the Detroit Pistons to a championship in 2004, and he collected the Finals MVP award in the process. Toss in 3 All-NBA selections, and I'd say he's got a real good chance to join Springfield's finest. Number 6. Kevin McHale. Kevin McHale played under the shadow of the great Larry Bird during his career, and it's for that reason that his numbers don't necessarily tell his entire story. He was tougher than nails during his career as a Celtic, most notably playing through the 1987 postseason with a broken foot. McHale and Bird were the 2 main catalysts of the 1980s Celtics team that won 3 championships. The former had post moves to die for, the latter had the complete game that led him to becoming a top 5 consensus player in league's history. McHale's best season included an input of 26 points and 10 rebounds per game. Overall, the former Minnesota Golden Gopher averaged better than 17-7 during his legendary 13-year career. He also drained an incredible 55% of his field goals. Number 7. Shane Battier. Shane Battier has, as long as he's been in the league, been a corrupt defensive force. Time after time he is asked to guard the likes of LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Kobe Bryant, and time after time he lives up to the task. His 2 inclusions to the all-defensive teams do not do this man justice. A former Dookie, Battier is not only solid on D, but a viable shooter as well, most notably beyond the arc, where he has shot 38.5% from deep. The 32-year-old is also, according to teammates of the past and present, a locker room presence who is a joy to play with. Before Maurice Cheeks was an NBA head coach and a Star-Spangled Banner concluder, he was one of the 1980s best floor generals with the Philadelphia 76ers. He was a prime example of a team player throughout his career, and he had the prototypical game of a point guard. He could shoot, pass, steal, and play defense. He shot nearly 53% and averaged 12.2 points. He dished out 7.3 assists and snagged 2.3 steals per game. His defense was great in regards to the perimeter, leading to his 4 inclusions on the All-Defensive Team on 4 separate occasions. He won a title with Philly and had his number 10 jersey retired. Number 9. Michael Cooper. Michael Cooper was the essential quaternary option on the 1980s Laker team. He played behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, and James Worthy, and was often overlooked and forgotten by his opponents. That's not to say they didn't recognize his presence, though. Larry Bird was once quoted as saying that Michael Cooper was the best defender he had ever faced. Chants of Coop surfaced whenever the 6'5" guard touched the ball, and even though he wasn't anything special offensively, he made his presence known on D, a testament to his 8 all-defensive selections. Like I said, he made his impact better known with his ferocious defensive skills, but still averaged 8.9 points, 4.2 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and 1.2 steals over his 13-year career, a window in which he helped win the 5 titles.